we talked about we went over the informed consent, prior to the session that included, and explained your rights and responsibilities. Also my duties as a counselor and responsibilities, should you communicate a threat to yourself or another person. So I want to start by, just asking you what brought you in here today.
Okay, I wanted to talk about some issues me and my husband, or I guess kind of an issue that me and my husband are having. Right now I'm in school and he works full time, and he has a job that's extremely demanding and it involves him to work basically 7 days a week. Like he says he does a lot of work in evenings on holidays, but he pretty much works all the time. And part of that is him working all the time is what enables me to just be a full-time student. But at the same time, we're having issues with, I try to get him to slow down and take a little time for himself and a little time to spend with me. And like, sometimes I'll go to him and say, it's like you've been my roommate for 5 days. It's like I haven't seen you. we're just sailing past each other. And it's because he's busy. And when I try to bring it up, and he's like, okay, well look, you tell me you're stressed about bills, you tell me you're worried about stuff getting paid, and so I'm working my butt off to get stuff paid, and now you're saying you don't want me to work. So we're just having like a conflict with trying to address balancing him working all the time and time with and us being able to spend time together, and him taking care of himself too. I'm worried about that. So I guess that's kind of like the main issue we're having.
Okay. So you're concerned about you guys, having some quality time, and him taking care of himself. What would be the greater of the concern? Are you more concerned about him taking care of himself, or?
I'd probably say the quality time with us, because I would say that he takes time. Like he'll take 30 minutes, in a day several times, and go, when he works from home and we have 3 dogs, and he'll take the dogs outside and run them for a while, or he'll go walk around the yard and listen. He likes audiobooks, and he'll listen to a book or something. And so he does do that some, but it's almost like you remember to spend time with the dogs quicker than you think, oh, well, hey, I have a couple hours, maybe I should go hang out with my wife. So I'd probably say us spending time together.
Okay, so you want him to be more aware of his leisure time and how he's spending it, and you want him to spend more of it with you.
Yeah, I don't want him to feel like I don't think he should get time to himself. I don't want him to feel like I don't respect the fact that he works his ass off to keep us afloat. But at the same time, seeing me for the 20 minutes it takes him to eat dinner and then go back to work, or sometimes, we have certain shows we like to watch. Well, maybe he'll come in and we'll watch a 30-minute show and we'll eat dinner or whatever, and then he's like, all right, one time we go to bed. And that's all I've seen him that day. Save, bypassing each other and saying a few words here and there. Like, that's the only time I've spent with him that whole day. And sometimes that doesn't even happen. It just depends on how busy he is with work. And his argument with me every time I try to bring something up is, you tell me you're stressed about bills, you tell me you're stressed about money, so I try to work hard, and then you tell me you're telling me that I'm working too much. So he feels
That's
like,
what he says.
yeah, he feels like he's caught between a rock and a hard place. He's like, I don't know how to make you happy. Like, I feel like I'm trying hard here, and it doesn't seem to matter. But it does, and that's why I always start with, look, I respect the fact that you work so hard.
Okay.
But there's always a
it's
but.
good that you do that.
Well, I don't want him to feel like I appreciate that he works as hard as he does so that I'm able to just focus on school. Like, that's a really big thing to me. And I don't want to belittle that.
And he knows that you feel that way.
Yeah, I've told him, but at the same time, whenever I say, I feel like you're not spending time, you're working too hard, can you please just take half a day off and let's go do something, or hell, we can just hang out in the house and watch a movie, but can you just take a little bit of time? And he's like, okay, well, you just fussed, he's like, you were just fussing yesterday about how you're worried about this getting paid, and so I'm making hours, and now you're complaining about that. He feels like he feels like he can't win, I guess, sometimes.
It sounds like you miss him a lot.
I do. Yeah, it's weird to be in the house it's weird to live with, like, just for him to be there, but for him to not be there. Because when he's at work, when he's working, he might as well not be there, because he gets so tuned into work, which is a good thing. And it took us a long time to respect his workspace, even though he's at home. Because that's a little different. It does, just because he's in his office doesn't mean I can go stick with him whenever I want to. So he's
working at home?
Yeah, he works out at he's either at home or on site.
Okay.
So.
Do you think, sounds like maybe you get a little bit anxious because you know he's in the house and he's working, and you don't want to bother him while he's working, but you want to spend time with him whenever you have time.
Yeah, and
You
it's
know,
like, and it's like our schedules
And you
never
just maybe want him
match
to
up.
be a little more available.
Yeah, I would just like, and the thing about me bother is that for a long time it was hard for me to learn how to respect the fact that because we've been together for 5 years, so it's hard for me to respect the fact that he was working at home. And it used to be a big argument among us. He's like, you need to understand that it doesn't matter that I'm here. You can't just come talk to me whenever you want. You can't stick your head in the door whenever you want. You can't ask me to stop working whenever you want. Just because I'm home doesn't mean I'm not at work. And so I try to respect within a certain, like almost like business hours. Like
Right.
between the hours of 8 and 6 o'clock or so, I try to, like, okay, you're at work unless he tells me otherwise. But he works from, 9 in the morning. Sometimes he's not done till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. He works every weekend pretty much. He works evenings because a lot of his work is after hours and all, when people aren't in the system because he does a lot of work on computers.
Right.
But yeah, but it's just, I just want to find a way to balance it and to make sure we spend time together without belittling the hard work that he does do.
Right. Have you communicated to him the feeling, because it didn't sound like you had actually told him that you feel like you miss him.
I have in the past, but I guess that's not something I've said recently. Because sometimes I'll just be like, "Hey, I miss you." Just "Hey, I miss you. It'd be nice if we could spend some time together." But probably not lately. And I guess it is confusing for me to be like, "Okay, we have to get all this paid this week," and then come back and be like, "Well, what do you mean? Can't you take a couple hours off from work?" And he's like, "What do you want from me? I can't do both."
Okay.
So.
Okay. So is that where the problem really comes in, is when you need to talk about things that need to be paid when the bills come up? Is that normally when the problem arises?
Well, yeah, it's kind of stressful because we make enough money, but we make just enough money. And we get bills paid on time, but not necessarily by the due date, within grace periods. We get things, we handle it, like we always make ends meet, but it is strenuous and it's tough, and we make just enough money to pay our bills and to have the few little extras that we like and take care of our dogs and stuff like that. Like we make just enough money, so that makes bill paying time pretty stressful. And I handle the budget, I handle paying all the bills and stuff. Like he makes the money, he comes home, he hands it over, and I divvy it up and get everything paid, and a lot spending like his rental money for the week and stuff. So and I've tried to get better about not fussing it, not getting mad at him about the bills, because sometimes it's like all I can do is work and get paid. And it's being self-employed. He doesn't control when he gets his check. Sometimes he's supposed to get it Friday, but we don't actually get it till Tuesday, and that stresses me out, and in turn makes me and I'm not mad at him, but I think he feels that way sometimes because I'll be stressed out.
What's mad? What do you mean by mad? And you said you don't try to make him feel like you're mad.
No, I don't think I'm not. And when I'm upset, it's just that I'm anxious about the situation. I'm not upset with him.
Okay.
But I think sometimes he interprets it as being upset with him, and so he'll come back with, "Well, babe, I'm doing all I can. Basically, I'm doing everything I can." And can you ease? I guess he's kind of thinking, can you ease up off me a little bit? And I've tried to get better about that, to try to, he can't until he can hand me a check. There's nothing he can do, and it's not his fault. He works extremely hard. I can never say that he doesn't work hard, but I don't know. I guess I want to be able to talk to him about this without shutting him down and making him feel defensive.
Okay.
Like I'm getting on to him about something.
So it sounds like when bill time comes around, you kind of get entangled in this anxiety that comes off as like frustration to him. And then that's kind of where you guys start to bicker a little bit. Yeah,
and that makes him gear it up and go, okay, well, I got to work harder. We need more money. We got to do this. And so he starts working harder. And then I'm like over there going, well, but I miss you. Don't you want to hang out with me? Okay. And so it's like we're kind of caught in this little cycle that we can't seem to break out of.
Okay. I'd like to explore that a little bit more in our next session. Our time is up. So we'll talk about that again next time.
Okay.
I always find it neat, an issue